Time to be telling you all this, but today we're going to be talking about my story of messing with customers at Dunkin Donuts. Now, first thing you should know is I was obviously I first started off at Dunkin as a regular employee, but I made my way up to shift leader. Sorry. Um, well, I had a couple of customers that come in and they're just all kinds of nasty rude. What you need to know about these people is they are undercaffeinated, hungry, and downright just what's going on? Oh, they're downright just in a hurry. So people that are hungry, undercaffeinated, and in a hurry, it's just a bad mix. So we got a lot of people coming in being hella rude. I'm not sure what I'm doing here. Not only are they rude, but they're extremely impatient, and they're a nuisance. I gotta pause for you real quick. Hi, Tom. I get this ball rolling on this story here. So, I just want to tell you about a couple times I pissed off a few customers. Now, I have ADHD, so the bad part about that is we typically tend to poke at or annoy people for their reaction because their reaction gives us a dopamine rush. So, one of my issues was I don't put up with bullshit from customers. I don't care about your money. The customer's always right, except when I'm working on that shift. You better come correct or you're not correct. I had a DoorDasher come in demanding money, or not demanding money, demanding his order. And this coworker of mine was 4 foot nothing. He goes, "Hey, do you speak English?" And I'm like, holy shit, we're in the middle of Chandler, Tempe. Why are you asking her if she speaks English? I don't so I look over and she's telling him, this order will be ready in a few minutes. He's like, well, it says it's ready now, so where is it? She's like, well, the machine usually says that it's ready immediately, but that's not exactly correct. We'll have it out in just a minute. He tells her, well, hurry the fuck up. I grabbed her. I said, you go over here, go do something. I'm gonna take care of this. So I ended up, I pushed her to the back area. I said, go find something to do. And I went up to the counter, and at the top of my lungs, he's the only one in the lobby. I said, excuse me? He says, huh? I'm like, what did you just say? He's like, what? I'm like, say it again. He's like, oh, I just told her to hurry up. I'm like, say it the way you said it the first time. He's like, well, and I'm like, listen, there are people here paying in the drive-thru at the front counter. There's other people here to pay with actual money for their food, and they're in a hurry. And I'm like, you're just a delivery driver. And he's like, whoa, this is ridiculous. And I'm like, it is ridiculous. And I point at the door. I'm like, get out. I'm like, I am not handing you this order. You get out of my store, the next driver can have it. And he's like, oh, whatever. And he left. And I went to the DoorDash machine and I took down his name and I called DoorDash and I said, yo, I made a report on him for his inappropriate behavior. I never saw him again, ever. We just didn't put up with that. My coworkers were astonished. They're like, how can you talk to customers like, I'm like, he's not a customer. He's a delivery driver. I'm like, if people are here paying with actual money right now, maybe I'd treat them different, or I'd tell them something a little nicer. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't want his presence. I don't want his business. He is not to be associated with our business. He's not coming here anymore, so I made sure of that. Another time, a good buddy of mine was working the drive-thru. He ended up accidentally dropping this lady's card. And she was like, my card. And I looked over And he's like, oh, don't worry, ma'am, I'll get that for you. She's like, you'd better. Man, I dropped everything I was doing. Let me explain this to you. I was on the sandwich station, and I'm over here making food. Right? I hear her say that. I swiveled on my heel. I walked over to the window, and he's out there going around the drive-thru side trying to go to her car and get her card for her. Because he's like, I'll get it for you, ma'am. She's like, you'd better. And I'm like, oh, hell no. So I look out the window at her, and I'm like, what happened? She goes, he dropped my card, and I'm disabled. And I look down, I see the card. I look at her, I look back down at the card. I look to my left, there he is coming around to the side of the building. I waved him off, I say, go back inside, I got this. Alright? Instead of going outside and getting her card, I reached all the way down the side of the building and grabbed it. And I'm like, I looked at her, and I'm holding her card, and I looked to the machine. I hadn't been charged yet, so I was like, charging her card. I'm like, wow, that's the worst thing that ever happened to you, isn't it? And she's like, what did you say? And I repeated myself. I'm like, that is the worst thing to ever happen to you, isn't it? She's like, you're extremely rude. And I'm like, uh-huh. She's like, and I hand her card. And I'm like, you ready to take your card now? And she's like, what the fuck? So she reaches for her card and grips it. And I have a death grip on it. I'm not letting this thing go. I got my thumb on it. We're tug-of-warring this card. She's trying to pull it out of my hand. And I'm like, you're not going to drop it again, are you? She's like, I finally let go. And she like almost hit herself in the face. It was... She tells me, you're so fucking rude. She's like, you just lost a customer. And I'm like, okay, we'll see you tomorrow. And she's like, no, you won't. Well, guess who came back that day, the next day, and every day after that? That bitch. But you know what? She was in a more behaved... She was better behaved after that. I don't know if she took a good look in the mirror and realized how she was behaving, but me not putting up with that shit, it must have either made her realize her behavior was unacceptable, or maybe she just was having a bad day. But regardless, don't bring that to my shop. I'm here to help you. We're here to help you. Don't treat us like slaves. I had another guy come in. I'm just going to keep dying here. I had another guy come in. A lady, actually. I moved to another location because my manager had left, and I was like, I'm not staying here. So we had another customer come in, and I just need this as extra detail. I'm not going to be actually progressing in this level because I'm fucking up. But I gotta say, she was a rather large lady, and I'm not talking like... she looked like melting ice cream. Everything above her waist was just melting. There's some... No, I'm all for bigger women, okay? I'm not trying to fat shame or body shame. I like big women. I really do. But this one just kind of looked like she was at a all-you-can-eat buffet every day, and just her body wasn't proportioning her body weight very well. So she came in, and I had a coworker next to me who was, older, and her name was... I'm not going to tell her your name, but... almost said it, but she was curvy, larger lady, very curvy, like her body proportioned it well. And this customer comes in to pick up an order. Nah, she wasn't picking up an order. What was she doing? She placed an order. Yeah, she placed an order and came to pick it up. And unfortunately, we didn't have the item she was looking for. Which is fine, no biggie, right? You just wanted like those mini bagels with like a quarter-size amount of cream cheese in it. It's the same price as a large bagel with cream cheese. And I'm gonna be honest, when it comes to putting cream cheese on a bagel, we demolish that shit. We give you so much cream cheese, it's so good. It's just, it's worth the price. So she comes in, and we're like, my coworker's telling her, you know, I'm really sorry, but we don't have the mini bagels. She's like, what? She's like, we don't have the mini bagels available right now. So if you'd like, we can replace that order for you. We can replace that with another item. She's like, I just want my mini bagels. She's like, well, I apologize, but we don't have that at the moment. She's like, if you don't have it, then why is it on the menu? I'm like, okay, this lady's a fucking idiot. So I come out from the sandwich station, and I'm like, ma'am, we have the item. It's just out of stock right now. We still sell it. She's like, okay, well, you don't have to be so rude about it. And I'm like, what? Like, the only reason I'm in your face right now is because you're being nasty. My coworker nudges me. She's like, hey, stop it. I'm like, nah. I was like, fine, I'll go back to the station, but, you know, I'll continue cooking food. She's really upset, and she's just being mean and nasty. And I'm not putting up with it. I'm like, you know what? The lady gets so fed up that her order isn't being completed the way she wanted it, even though my coworker goes, ma'am, I'm really sorry that you didn't get the service you wanted, but we did try to replace the item for you. And she gets all mean and nasty and starts arguing. At one point she says, you know what? I don't even want it. She takes her drink and her food and flings the bag over the counter and takes one of her drinks and pushes it back towards the counter. It falls down onto the ground on our side and explodes everywhere. Hi, Tom. And I was like, all right, that's it. I pointed... Oh, I gotta pause this. I pointed at the door. It's a Sunday morning. There are kids. There are people who just got out of church. There are just, you know, all kinds of people in line. And this lady came in with her boyfriend to pick up this order that they wanted. She slid her drink across the counter where it exploded. She then started throwing her bags of food at us. Like, not like a baseball, but just, you know, like when you get home and you toss your keys on the counter. You know, just underhanding it. She threw that stuff across the counter and it landed on the ground. I took her remaining drink so she couldn't throw it. I pointed at her and I pointed at her and I pointed my hand off to the door. And I said, get out now. She goes, or what? Or what? She starts trying to come back around the counter. Her boyfriend is trying to hold her back. She's like, you gonna fight me and my boyfriend? And I took her drink, and I'm like, man, you're not getting this. So I took her drink. I opened the lid, and I started pouring it down the drain. I'm like, we just made this, but we're throwing it away. You're not getting this. And I told her, I'm like, your boyfriend is not going to do anything. You are making a, what did I say? I'll say, you are making a fool of yourself. And my coworker grabbed me, the lady I was working with, the curvy one, grabs me, shoves me into the back area, says, get back there and go do something. I was like, whatever. You know, so her boyfriend wrestled her out of the building back to their car where they left. And so she ended up calling multiple times. We were busy, so we weren't answering, but we knew it was her based on her name matching the DoorDash order she had put in, and the online order. So she's over here calling, and my coworker calls back or answers, and she's like, "Yes, Miss, whatever the last name is," and she's like, "That's my mother's name," and we're like, "Oh, you're using your mom's phone to call us." So we're sitting here pissing her off. She called my coworker, who was really curvy, a fat bitch, and I'm like, how can she say that? She looks like she's melting. So we're like, you know what? We called the police, and the police came in and took a look at took a look at all the footage and what she was doing, and they're like, okay, we're gonna take this in and we'll get something figured out for her. They found out her name and they ended up bringing her to court or whatever. I quit that job at that point. They called me, you know, months after the fact, and they're like, hey, this is Detective so-and-so, and we're investigating a report that was made at a Dunkin Donuts regarding a customer and their behavior. So we were just wondering if you were still willing to, pursue these charges. And I'm like, well, I don't even work there anymore. He's like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah, I got a new job. I got out of there. He's like, well, are you still interested in pursuing? Give me a minute here. Hello. Okay. Oops. So, I was like, hell yeah, I'm pursuing these charges. I don't care. I told him, she's like 19, and someone that is going to act like that should not be in public. So, no. Shouldn't even let her out the house. So, I'm over here getting a call at a completely different job about something that happened at my old job and whether or not I want to pursue it. And I'm like, hell yeah. So, they ended up taking her to court. And in order for her to get all these charges dropped for disorderly conduct and all this other stuff, she had to take a diversion class for several weeks. And I was getting emails about her court dates and appearances. And I'm not doing my best on this game. I'm sorry. I'm just getting emails about her progress, and I'm just sitting there eating lunch at work. Like, I'm getting paid. She's in court right now. Like, next time you open the door and decide to let yourself out, you better have the proper behavior. I'm not the one. You can't just act this way around other people and expect everything to go fine. I'm like, that's gonna bite you in the ass. And I love how people say, you know what, karma will get you. And I'm like, yeah, karma will get those people. Karma certainly will. But not today. Karma's not gonna get them. Because I'm gonna get them. I'm gonna be the one to get those motherfuckers. And I do. I had a couple of other stories from Dunkin', but I had a customer. I gotta go to dinner in just a minute, but I had a customer come in to pick up an order for someone else to deliver it. And I'm like, we're really busy. The machine glitched and ended up making a repeat order. So we weren't aware of that at first. So we made like 6 drinks and it was like one order of like 5 drinks and several different food items, and it printed out twice for some reason. So we had really no idea. And I'm sitting here making it all, and this lady comes in to pick up an order, and she waits in line, and then she gets out of line to walk around the store, and I'm like, well, you just lost your place in line. So I'm busy making all these drinks, like 10 of them. And she goes, I finally look up at her and I'm like, hey, can I help you with an order? And she's like, oh, now you decide you want to help me? And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? She's like, now you decide you want to help me? And I'm like, well, I'm not sure if you saw, but we're actually pretty busy back here with all these drinks. And I point at them in front of me. And I'm like, if you wanted to come back here and help us, it would really help. Like, I'd really appreciate it. And she's like, you're fucking rude. And I'm like, I'm just doing my job. She goes, well, I'm trying to pick up this order. And I'm like, okay. And she got real nasty with me. So I was like, well, I almost had your order done, but let me see what else we got. So I told her I'd be right back. But instead of making her order and giving it to her, I grabbed the mop and the bucket, and I started mopping the store. So she's on the phone complaining to the customer about how unprofessional I'm being and how I'm not helping her with this customer's order. And I'm just watching her and mopping. Like, I have the drinks ready to go. They're just hidden behind the counter. And I'm like, all right, the floor looks great. I really like how it looks. You know, it's nice and shiny. Like, it's ready for another couple hours of work. I won't have to worry about that. And I was like, I better take care of this customer too. So she's texting busily on her phone. And I'm like, I slide her drink over. And she goes, I gotta pause for this part. She's buried in her phone texting. And I'm like, are you ready to take your order now? Like, are you ready to pick up the order? She just ignores me and she's still texting. So I'm still being rude to her because she's being nasty. I'm like, yes, no, maybe so. She stopped texting, looked up at me, and she's like, you are really fucking rude and you need to learn some goddamn manners. And I'm like, okay. She's like, you're lucky I don't slap the shit out of you because I'm about to. And I'm like, you see all these cameras above you? And I lean my face forward. I'm like, I really wish she would. See that door over there? You're not going to make it to the door. Like, hit me. And she's like, ugh. And she's like, you think I'm scared of you? And I'm like, honey, I'm not the one you got to be scared of. And I grabbed the phone. And she's like, what, are you going to call the cops? And I'm like, yeah, actually. I'm like, you ever been 86th from a store? Like, you ever been kicked out of a store before? And I'm like, well, if you haven't, it's about to happen. So I'm like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the time it takes for you to pick up those drinks and get the fuck out of my store. Or I'm going to call the cops. She's like, you think I'm scared of you? And I'm like, again, I'm not the one you have to worry about. She's like, fine, I'll stand here while you call them. I'll be waiting. I'm like, honey, you sure you're going to stay? You're going to be here the whole time? Like, you're really going to wait for them? She's like, yeah, do it. I'm like, all right. So I look at the paper on the wall and it tells us the non-emergency and I dial it. And I'm like, all right. I know customer service is a hard job. I fucking loved doing this though. Because again, like I said in the beginning, this is giving me dopamine and I have ADHD. So, pissing this lady off is just making me feel so good inside. So I'm just like, all right. I dialed and I put it up to my ear. She's talking mad shit while she's backing away out the store. And she's like, yeah, check this out. And she calls for her friend. She's like, hey guys. She tries to tell them to come in. I'm like, all right, well, now I'm going to call 911. So I called 911. And they picked up. I'm like, yeah, I got a customer in here that's trying to fight and, causing a ruckus and a real big scene. And she runs to her car. I'm looking at her out the window. And I'm just like on the phone staring at the window. She's parked like with the nose towards the building. And behind her is like the entryway to the plaza. And then there's that big loop that extends from the rock area to, it like separates parking spaces. It's a large little loop with rocks in the area. I don't know. But you don't want to go over that because it's a curb and then a bunch of rocks. She gives me the middle finger as she throws it in reverse and she's holding up her finger. She starts backing, reversing it really fast. Isn't paying attention to what's behind her. Goes over the curb, gets her back end stuck on the rocks. Is now beached. So I'm on the phone looking at her when I'm on the phone with police. And she's slamming her fist on the steering wheel. She's so upset. She's like, God damn it! And her friends are like, what the fuck's going on? And she looks up at me, and I'm just on the phone, and I'm waving to her like, hello, like, hi out there, just with a big smile on my face, like, this is karma. This is exactly what you deserve. So her friends are like, fuck, we gotta get out of here, he's calling the cops. So she's trying to rev it really hard. She's kicking up rocks and dirt and just like vroom, vroom, vroom. Her friends got out of the car and got behind it. She's like, you guys need to push on it. So they pushed. And after like a couple minutes of struggling, I'm just watching the whole thing unfold. They finally got it to go. She gained traction and had it floored. She damn nearly she almost hit the front of the building because she got so much traction and so much speed all of a sudden that she had to slam on the brakes to prevent herself from going through our front door window. Man. Anyway, I didn't get a plate because it was a paper plate. I'm like, yeah, you must have just got that thing and you don't know how to drive and you're in a Dunkin'. Like, imagine that millions of years ago, we evolved and crawled out of the ocean so that we could have beef at a Dunkin'. That's crazy. So, it was just, I had fun pissing these people off. There's a couple more stories. I'd really have to sit there and think about it, but when it came to me, the customer's always right, except for when I'm on shift. And like I said, if you don't come correct, you're not correct. So I don't care about the money. I care about the respect. If you want business from us, typically you're gonna get it no matter how you treat us, because we want your money and we're depending on you to keep the store afloat. But when it came to me, I'm like, you can take your money elsewhere. I really don't give a shit. I'm like, you're gonna come in here proper and with respect, and if you don't, hey man, you're gonna leave pretty upset. I'm not gonna lose my job over this, because I had people backing me up left and right. They would handle the customer and give them a little bit of a, apology gift card, but that was it. They still got to remember the day they fucked with me, and so did I. So yeah, other than that, right now I'm gonna have to wrap that up. I have dinner waiting for me downstairs, so I'm gonna hop off. But I appreciate you guys for jumping in and listening to a couple of these stories. If I have any more, I'll be sure to post them. But as for right now, bye.